Room, come on in the room. Bucks win it tonight, 127-121 over the Atlanta Hawks. Close game, down to the wire. Clutch win for the Milwaukee Bucks, but they do it. Come on in the room. Doc is our doctor right on the screens. He gives us our medicine in our room. We are live. Cream City crossover guru truck across the dirt.
Chris King.
Justin.
There you go. Snuck it in.
Okay. However you want to do it. Yeah. Everybody's in the building. No JT tonight. A little load management for him. No, we got to back more. We got to load manage a little bit. JT, 127-121 Bucks. A huge victory on the road. Your Milwaukee Bucks are 10 games over 500 for the first time this season. They hold control right now over the 4th seed in the NBA, mere 5 games back of the Knicks, and 1 game over the Detroit Pistons with the tiebreaker. You're the same record with the Indiana Pacers, and again, you do hold the tiebreaker, but the Bucks are looking good and doing their thing. And tonight was no different as they get a win over the Atlanta Hawks. Fun basketball game, and mind you, I'll say this before I get to where I want to go. You give up 33 in the first 2 quarters, 29 in the third, 26 in the fourth. So you hunkered down on defense when it was absolutely necessary. The Bucks do it tonight. They win it 127-121. Get at us. Big win. This is a big win. Let's not understate this. This is a big win to get the 10 games over 500. This is a big win on the road. The Milwaukee Bucks have had trouble on the road. They get a road win tonight. Let's celebrate this thing as it should be celebrated, because I think it's a big win. I honestly do. And again, it's not the greatest win we've had all season. It's nothing. It's not like, we should be jumping for joy. Oh my God, the Bucks beat the Hawks on the road. But this is a win. This is a win that you need, and a win that this is what I'm saying like this. This is a win. This is what good teams do. Hawks on a back-to-back. You got guys that it doesn't matter. Minutes restriction, guys hurt, guys. It doesn't matter. You go out and you find a way to win this basketball game. That's what the Bucks did tonight. Get at us on the chat. We'll talk to you in the chat. Tell us about this win. Tell us about the play of your Milwaukee Bucks. Get at us on the Twitter at TCIIESQ. We'll talk there as well. But let's do it right now. Starting off with the game recap tonight. Giannis messed around and got a triple-double, 26, 12, and 10 in 33 minutes of action. He was 9 of 18 from the field. And how about him? He's starting to shoot the free throws a little better. Finished 8 of 12, but I think he started off 5 for 5, shooting the free throws better. Starting off from the last game, he shot the free throw very well, a +9 for him. Brook Lopez, 13 points, 13 rebounds. Should have had 14, but he fell asleep with a minute and a half to go as Atlanta Hawks on the free throw line. No, I don't know why, but he was just lunching out there. But he does go 13 and 13, 5 for 14 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. He was a +7. Taurean Prince, 8 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal. Bad ankle, Kyle Kuzma. Hey, y'all, let me stop. My bad. I said I'm only going to reply. So if somebody wants to set me up in the comments, then I can say something. But I ain't gonna say nothing. On off the jump. I'm gonna just say he had 17 and 10 with 2 assists. Should have had like 5 assists. Guys were smoking layups and all types of stuff. He has some really good passes. People said he's not efficient. How about 70% for efficiency? 7 for 10, including a big time 3 late in the game. I won't say who he looked like. I ain't gonna say who he looked like shooting from 3 back there in the clutch. But I'm just saying he did that thing. 23, 5, and 4 from Damian Lillard tonight. 2 steals, 9 of 18 from the field, 2 of 10 from 3. The first quarter was great from Dame. I think he had like 14 in the first, whatever it was. And then Clint Capella elbowed him in the eye. His eye started to swell up, looked like Travis Scott. Smacked him out there, smacked him upside the face as his eye swelled up. So so I thought that impacted Dame in the second half. But even with that, he had a clutch layup late. He got to the free throw line, still find a way to impact the basketball game, even when you're hurt. I wonder if with that eye, I wonder if we see him tomorrow night. I wonder if we see Kyle Kuzma, who to me still looked like he had a bad ankle. 17-10 was good tonight, but he looked like he was about 70, 75%. AJ Green, 8 points, 4 boards tonight. Gary Trent Jr., 15 points, 2 assists, 2 steals, 6 of 10. Gary Trent Jr., a staple off the bench. Jericho Sims, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Some okay defense from him, but he was in there. And Kevin Porter Jr., absolutely in that fourth quarter. I believe he scored all 15 of his points in the fourth. And I mean, he held that thing together for the Bucks as with their bench unit. I make a note. I made a note to myself with talking about when the Bucks started. The Bucks were down 3 to start the fourth quarter. That group was when Giannis got back in, they were up 2. With I think it was 7 or 8 minutes left to go, whatever it was. So that group, the bench group of Kevin Porter Jr., I believe Kuzma might have been in with them, but it was like Kevin Porter Jr., Kuzma, Gary Trent, AJ Green, and Jericho Sims. That group went +5 in the minutes without Dame, without Giannis. That was huge in the fourth quarter. On the Atlanta Hawks side of things, Kongwu, 6 points, 9 boards. Dyson Daniels, 16 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. He's a fine player. I mean, Dyson Daniels looks. He's all over the basketball playing defense. He's hitting shots. What did he finish? 7 for 14, 50% from the field. He was good. How you say my man's name? Ricochet, 7 points, 4 boards for him. And then Muhammad Gay.
Did we lose him?
Giannis almost lulled him to sleep. Huh? What's that?
Go ahead. Nope, nothing.
Oh, okay. No,
it lagged. When you hit that Gay. Yeah, it lagged.
Oh, it lagged. It lagged
in
the game. Okay, my bad.
It paused you for you.
It paused on the game. What was funny about Muhammad was brother Muhammad was that when Giannis was lackadaisical defensively on him all night, and so he's looking for this 3 in the court. I think on the Steve Novak one, finally he said some he gave some stats that I could use on a broadcast. I listened to him all night. But I think he said coming to the game, Gay had like 7 made threes on the season coming in or something like that. He hit 4 tonight. But the funny part was, I think he starts off 4 for 4, whatever it is. Giannis he's basically getting warm-up jumpers. And then with about 2-3 minutes left, that's when, okay, Gay, you done hit 4 in a row, and I'm letting you hit them. Now I'm going to come over and put a hand up on your face. And it's almost like he lulled him to the sense of confidence, like, hey, I can shoot this 3 ball. Nah, you really can't. Hand in your face, brick. Trae Young, 28 and 13 assists tonight. Karis LeVert, 21 points, 3 boards, 4 assists. Clint Capella, I thought he was pretty good. 8 points, 8 rebounds for him. Niang, 8 points, and Terrence Mann, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. This is a good win, guys. This is a really good win. 127-121. I thought this was a game, I'll let you guys have it, where offensively, the Bucks got any look they wanted to. I believe, what's their record now? Like 21-1 when they score over 120 points. It's something like that. Something like 22-1, whatever it is. I know you'll get me right on the stats, Justin. But listen, this team, and I will use them because I'm not speaking disparagingly. No Chris Middleton, no Bobby Portis, guys on minutes limits. And you're still finding 120 points every night. You're still finding, what was the stat we gave the other night? 6 players in double figures. You're finding those points. Guys are finding it. And it was one of those games where I thought in the first half, you kind of just lull through it back and forth. Atlanta's been on a back-to-back. And you just wait. You just wait because and when the rubber meets the road, the fourth quarter, you're going to outscore them by 9 points, 35-26 in the fourth. Find a way to get a big win. You got a back-to-back. You're going to Dallas tomorrow. Let's go out. This has been beautiful. The Milwaukee Bucks are the hottest. This is the hottest post-game show. This is the hottest. The Creeps and the Crosses is the hottest Milwaukee Bucks post-game show. The Milwaukee Bucks are the hottest team in the NBA going into since the All-Star break. 127-121 is the final. That's what I saw. What'd you see?
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was a good win for the Bucks. I think we talked about it in our group chat before, like, hey, this is a good opportunity here to get 2 in a row. You've got, obviously, the Mavericks with the tough injury they got with Kyrie, and then you obviously had the Hawks they're coming off a back-to-back emotional win. But credit to them, man. I thought that they knocked down the open ones. They knocked down shots at a high level, but you didn't see the Bucks falter at all. You did not see them falter at all. You knew that they were going to stick around, and what I was most impressed with watching that fourth quarter is how many options we have in clutch time. How many ways we can beat you in crunch time. And in that fourth quarter, KPJ obviously getting us started with 12 points in that quarter. And that's huge because that lineup that they're throwing him out there with, they cannot score the basketball. Whether I don't know what it is. Jericho Sims is out there and Gary Trent's out there, and sometimes Gary Trent will score a little bit. But when KPJ is cooking, let him cook, man, because that's what I see when he's out there with that second unit. And I would be remiss to not say, look, 12 minutes, come on now. I think he defends at a high enough level. Yes, he has some issues with turning the ball over a little bit, getting a little sloppy, maybe getting overconfident, taking Capella to the rim on fast break opportunities. But, I mean, you see it. You see it. The good definitely outweighs the bad. So I think KPJ is really deserving of more minutes. But then, that group where Kuzma hits a deep three at the end of the shot clock. You see Giannis hitting a spin mid-range that we've loved so far this season. You see Brook, even after his bad defensive play all night, you see him get the go-ahead bucket. And then last but not least, you get Dame, who scores late on a layup with a hurt eye. He looked like Gervonta Davis out there after his fight. But yeah, all in all, it was a good win. I'm very impressed with the late-game heroics of everybody in that lineup. Thought we could have rebounded the ball better. It would not have been that close had the Bucks just rebounded the basketball late. But all in all, to be able to take that last final punch from the Hawks, and they tied it up, and then for the Bucks to go out there and continue to score was very important to me. So I'm glad this late-game stuff is coming around already with these new additions.
Yeah, man, it's a fun night to be on here after a win. I feel like we finally beat the Hawks. I think we lost like 5 or 7 in that arena before tonight. So maybe there's a curse of Doc going back to his old stomping grounds and couldn't coach there. But Doc on the game tonight said that the Bucks did a good job of getting to their pace, but the Hawks kind of had their pace through the entire first half, but they did a better job in the second half. The Bucks entirely defensively were overhelping tonight. That led to a lot of open shots. Your man Gay was in the corner shooting threes in a pregame 3-point rack. The late game execution was awesome for Dame and Giannis in that 2-man game, and they found Brook wide open in that dunker, and that led us to getting that 2-point lead. Kuz just made a couple good plays off of the Dame pick and just the attention that Dame had. Kuz and kind of like what Chris was talking about, Kuz and KPJ kept us close. He did include, because we talked about it before we got on air, Bobby Portis will be in that lineup. Was what Doc said. Yeah. It's just lots of overhelping on Trae Young. We talked about that already. He mentioned that we had young and old guys. They play well together. And the important thing is that they don't look clustered in together. They kind of move the ball around and do well. Second half, they really focused in on rebounding, except for that last snafu on the free throw, which there's no excuse for that one. Aaron Gogger said in the chat, I'm going to get here. I'm going to say Brook played a good game. 13 points, 13 rebounds. I don't know when the last time Brook Lopez had 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, altered the Trae Young shot that made it so we won that basketball game. So, hell yeah, I'm going to say Brook played a good game. I thought it was one of it. Like the Bucks seem to struggle with the floater from Trae Young and Daniels all night. And every time we play these guys, no matter who it is, whether it's Bogdanovich, whether it's Daniels, whether it's the Nicolay kid, Jalen Johnson, whoever it is gets to that in between the free throw line and that dotted area, and they hit floaters on us back to back all the time, it seems like, man. But I thought that it was a gritty win. It was a good win. It's a win against a playoff team on the road. It's 2 road wins in a row. We're 6-1 since the All-Star break. Best record in the NBA since the All-Star break. And shout out to King of Kings, man. Talked about, for us old brothers, Goody Bob at the halftime show, man.
Yeah.
Get rich to this. You can't go wrong with CeeLo and the homies getting curved. That's good stuff for Atlanta. Random Tuesday, too, man. So we up. I'm up. It's a great night to be a Bucks fan, man. We gonna go hard in the paint tonight.
It is. It is a great night to be a Bucks fan. And basketball, I have to address the basketball reach says Kuzma out of this game, 7 for 10. 70% from the field, great cuts. Again, should have had like 5 assists, 10 boards. Basketball Reach says Kuzma made some bonehead plays again tonight. He tried to drill behind in between his legs in traffic and turn it over late. One play. Yes, he had a turnover tonight. Thank you. Understood. I mean, why are we going out of our way to hate this guy? I'm not even going to go hard on this because tonight, I mean, there's no point in doing it. But again, give it up. Sammy says Chris Middleton over Kuzma, but I'm impressed with this player as of late. No, I'm not going to go Chris Middleton over Kuzma. I'm not going to do it. But not in the year of our Lord 2025. Again, it's a good game. But again, I'm not going to go. Samuel says Kuzma actually made a clutch three. Pleasantly surprised. Louis Lamont says KPJ needs to be with the last group. That's an interesting again. And I think Trish said that she wondered why KPJ didn't close. I mean, he did play like 6-7 straight minutes there in the fourth. My guess is that, and here's the thing, for as bad as I think some people would say that Taurean Prince didn't play a great game. But again, I mean, and yeah, I know 28-13 from Trae Young seems like a lot, but he had 28 on 24 shots. He was 37% from the field. Like Taurean Prince, it was odd because to me, it wasn't like he kept up very well with Trae Young, but I mean, I didn't think he was bad. I just didn't think he was terrible tonight. Trae Young he's a tough cover in general for the league, but he's a tough cover also for Taurean Prince. So I mean, oh man, Ali Carr says CeeLo is a rape. Okay, all right, I ain't gonna go there, man. Sheesh. Shout out Goody Mob, man. I'm sorry, man. Y'all ain't gotta do all right. Why y'all gotta do all this, man? Go somebody else. I can't.
We ain't gonna have nobody left in the 90s and 2000s, man. God, dog. Hey, one thing on the Kuzma, like the turnover thing, that's looking at that dude with a magnifying glass and a fine tooth comb, man. Every one of them dudes had bonehead turnovers tonight. Every one of them dudes had plays they wish they could have back. I mean, reaching to say that now I'm calling Chris Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma turned the ball over. I mean, and I hate it every time we say we're not going to go here, and then they just wheel us back in with this Chris Middleton crap.
Yeah. Chris
turned the ball over a lot too. Chris doesn't have great handles. Sorry. He doesn't. One thing that I forgot that, and I think homie Tish is right, queen of the post-game show, I think KPJ was tired because, like Chris King mentioned, he deserves more minutes, but he carried the Bucks the entire start of the fourth quarter. But I thought he had the best defensive effort on Trae Young tonight. I thought Doc got a little bit too creative putting Taurean Prince on him. I know when we were in the cup, was it the Emerdy's Cup?
Yeah.
We got away with putting Andre Jackson Jr. on him. Andre Jackson Jr. played good defense, but Taurean Prince isn't Andre Jackson Jr. defensively. So that's what got a little wonky. My bad, Chris.
No, I mean, I agree with some of the comments here. Just looking at the fit that Kuzma brings, I don't think we really were getting the Washington Kuzma. I think we were creating that joy, that love of basketball that Kuzma had in L.A. Speaking to L.A. fans, they liked him in his role. They liked him a lot, and it looks like he recognizes that. But he's also not afraid to go and get a bucket or go and get some rebounds, second chance points. That's what this team was missing. And that's why I'm just so excited. Whatever Chris is doing out in Washington, I'm not even really paying attention to. I've just been excited that the Bucks have been winning with these new additions.
Yeah, and again, it was a road victory tonight, and that's where the Bucks have really struggled on the road. They've had issues. They haven't been able to do it well on the road. I'm just looking standings-wise. The Bucks are at home 20-9, which is very good, which is really, I mean, that's – you're talking, I mean, again, Indiana's 19-9, Knicks are 21-11, Boston is 19-11 at home. Really only Cleveland is a better home team in the East. Only Cleveland is a better home team in the East than the Milwaukee Bucks. However, you go on the road, the Bucks are 14-16. And they really struggled and have struggled on the road. Now you're gonna have a big West Coast road trip that's coming up. Somebody in the chat says the real season starts on Sunday. But again, you can't take these wins for granted. You really can't, because these are games that early in the season you find ways to lose. Like you mentioned, we lost to Atlanta early in the season. Yeah. And again, with the I'm gonna say healthy team, but I'm not sure if Chris was there for some of those games or not, or whatever it was. But but we've lost some games against Atlanta because they are a tougher matchup for us just because of the matchup problem that Trae Young creates. But again, what is always a difference for me is if Damian Lillard can come close to the output of the other guy, 28 from Trae Young, 23 from Dame, I'll take it. I'll 100% take it. How about William Arrange with the super chat? He says, KPJ really said, don't worry, Giannis and Dame, I got this. Let's talk for a second about that group that comes out and Kevin Porter Jr. and what he does. Do you like, and not to get ahead, I'm not talking about the playoff thing yet, but I just want to, do you like when Doc runs out that backup unit, that backup group? On Twitter, a lot of people complain when that backup group comes in and it's everybody, Giannis and Dame are sitting on their own by themselves. Are you guys okay with that and letting those guys kind of work things out? Or does that worry you that you're having to find some offense? Because I will say at times it does look clunky, but when KPJ has it going, I mean, again, you can make the argument. I've said this before on this show. You can make the argument KPJ is our third best shot creator outside of Giannis and Dame. But just generally, are you okay with those minutes that Doc allows Giannis and Dame to sit, and you're just kind of rolling with the bitch and seeing what happens?
Well, when you look at it, right, there's been 2 games where KPJ has kind of willed this team over the hump, and then there's also been 1 game where he wasn't able to do it and there was no points scored. But what I really enjoy about that group, and I think somebody just said it in the chat, was they defend really hard. They get after it. It's not like we're losing much in a score differential if you're not scoring, because they're getting those stops that you need. I would just like maybe, I know Giannis was on that minutes restriction against Houston when they weren't able to score, but I would like to see KPJ and Giannis get a little bit going. Whether that means you have to sit Giannis and put Dame out there after a little while and then bring Giannis back, but I don't know. That's up to Doc. But my thing is, KPJ being able to get comfortable with Giannis would be really, really good for this team's future, not only but also where this team goes in the playoffs if he's getting those kind of minutes. So yeah, I think they play good defense. I'm not as mad at it as maybe the people on Twitter are, but they overreact to everything. And KPJ has done it for 2 games, didn't do it once, and we lost. But they had a shot at winning that one too. So I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be.
Justin?
Yeah. I like the second unit, like Chris was talking about with KPJ, but I also like it in the fact that you have different options, man, because you have Kyle Kuzma who can get it going and he can hit a few buckets back to back and then get it going. And I mean, the most important thing is to keep Giannis and Dame off their feet for long enough to get that win going and to be able to be healthy for this playoffs. And right now, I think KPJ is showing you that he can carry this team in a 2-minute span. Kyle Kuzma is showing you that he can carry the team. And let's not forget, AJ Green did a heck of a job. I know he does a heck of a job shooting, but tonight he showed me some shot creation where he got to his mid-range and he hit a couple timely buckets. So as long as they're going to defend like this and they're going to keep us close and give us a puncher's chance, man, I like to go with this second unit. And I disagree with the chat, man. I think once Porter's come back and he fits in there, there's going to be a role for him to get a couple buckets too. And the biggest thing is hopefully when he comes in with this 5, the defense is contagious and he picks up his defensive level to match these guys.
You talk about the defense. Defensive rating since February the 12th, Bucks are number 1 in defensive rating. Since February 12th, Bucks are number 1 in opponent field goal percentage. Since February 12th, Bucks are 2nd in defensive rebounds. And since February 12th, Bucks are 7th in opponents' points off of turnovers. The defense has really started to pick up. And again, it's an active group. How many times, again, what do we say all the time? The possession isn't over until you grab the rebound. Bucks tonight gave up 11 offensive rebounds. They got 9 on their own. But tonight, I mean, look, you have 13 boards from Brook Lopez, who leads the team in rebounding tonight, 12 from Giannis, 10 from Kuzma. You have 3 guys. I mean, I just try to remember the last time you have 3. Sometimes you can get Giannis and Bobby in double-digit rebound, but you have got you have guys that are actively attacking the glass. Dame had 5 rebounds tonight. Like you're getting some of this stuff. Getting back to the question though, and I think somebody said MK Kendrick says, no, the backup unit doesn't have enough offense, and they seem to play really dumb at times. They do, but to your point, Justin, they play hard, and they are running at full speed. Even that game that you mentioned, Chris, the Houston game where we couldn't score. I mean, remember, Houston, we scored 12 points that quarter. Houston scored 15. It wasn't like we lost the game by 3. It wasn't like we went through a lull. We did go through a lull, but it wasn't like we went through the lull and we just got blown out because we couldn't score and we couldn't get stops. It wasn't like we getting stops at like we did the exact same thing they did to us. They just happened to score 3 more points. So even with that, I was okay with it because again, the defensive intensity is high. But yeah, I think when you add Bobby Portis to that group, you're gonna see the points. And I think that when Kevin Porter Jr., he's just a bucket getter, man. Like he's what you call, the difference between a basketball player and a hooper. You put him solely in that hooper category. Like that's what he's doing. Like you mentioned, Justin, the mid-range is there. And he single-handedly kept the Bucks in that basketball game because Atlanta was scoring, but the Bucks kept scoring, and so I don't know how that ends out. But the other thing I'll say is this on people who complain about Doc and the lineups and how he runs them. The reason I don't mind, especially with Giannis on the minutes limit, tonight he played 33, 49 tonight, which means remember his minutes limit was 32, so maybe tonight it was 35, but tonight. Or in these past games, right? When you look and you move ahead to the playoffs and what you're looking at, the reason I don't mind like not staggering the lineups as much late in the regular season is because that's not what's going to happen in the playoffs. There may be some staggering, but in the playoffs, Giannis and Dame have to play together. Like there's nowhere those two have got to play together nonstop, and they've got to figure this thing out how they're gonna coexist and make it work. So I'd rather, if you have to give up some points and some possessions with a backup group to spare playing maximum minutes with Giannis and Dame, I'd rather do that and say this. I don't say these are meaningless games, but they don't mean as much as Giannis, Dame playing together in the playoffs. That's what I want. I want to work on that over prioritizing. Hey, let's keep Dame on the floor with KPJ so we can score. Matter of fact, I like the situation. I like the fact that KPJ's out there by himself because we may need him to cook. I want a guy out there on the floor who doesn't have to rely on, I gotta get a ball to Dame, no, you're out there by yourself, sink or swim. That's how we throwing you in the deep end. You're either getting out or you're not. So I mean, and tonight, KPJ swim and pass test of flying colors.
Yeah, when you put it like that, yeah. I mean, Giannis said it in that interview yesterday where they're the highest, scoring duo in the league for a reason, and they're playing well together. Like this isn't something that they're still working on. No, this duo is here. It's so that's good to see. And then to have a guy that kind of gives them, a break from, being so ball dominant that when they're on the bench they can just sit down and watch him work. I mean, that's everything we've ever wanted as Bucks fans, to have somebody like that. So I've just been super impressed with the way he's just been able to get loose. And then, also whenever people get thrown in that Hooper discussion, they don't really – some of those guys don't play defense. I see a lot of defense from KPJ. I think he's active. I think he moves his feet well. I think his length really works well for him in terms of his arms. So, yeah, I think his reach is good. And, yeah, maybe, when you're looking at the first quarter, first and second quarter, maybe you get KPJ out there a little earlier because – he only he shoot maybe 2 shots and made a 3 in the first half, and wasn't. But
he turned the ball over a little bit in the first half too.
Yeah, he did, and got blocked. But those are the mistakes that he's going to have as a ball dominant point guard. So would maybe like to see him get some more minutes, maybe in those first halves.
Yeah, and he was a.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with him getting some more minutes. Oh, sorry.
No, I must be lagging. Go ahead, Justin. I must be lagging.
I was late for me too.
Okay, go ahead, Justin.
No, I just said that I agree with them getting more minutes in the first half. The thing I love about KPJ is I know you mentioned Trey. He turned the ball over in the first half, and he definitely got blocked in the first half. But the kid isn't scared. The moment isn't too big for him. And if something, God forbid, that everybody knock on wood and everything you could possibly knock on, if something happened to Damian Lillard, I think you can insert him in that starting lineup, and he's a guy that can help you maybe beat one of these first-round teams. Now, can he take you all the way to the finals in this young age? I don't know about that, but I know the kid's going to get out there. He's going to give it his all. And like Chris keeps mentioning, he's giving it to you on both ends of the basketball floor. He's not just playing offense or playing defense, which is so important. Trae Young's worst shot from behind the line in the night came from a contest from KPJ. That reach, like Chris mentioned, is just insane, and it is great. But I mean, the thing about this bench, man, is like we're in a situation where we should be able to be healthy and rested and continue to win basketball games when we get to this playoffs. And I know we talked about it a little bit before, but when you talk about why we lost to this Atlanta Hawks teams times before, because they were more athletic. They ran around us and had us looking like cones. Everybody. Now you got guys out there. You got a Sims, you got a Kuzma, you got a KPJ, and just I don't know if I mentioned in my opening, but just hats off to Kuzma for playing with that ankle, coming back in the Dallas game and playing in this game. I mean, that's just, it's amazing to me, man. Best availability is availability is the guru's phrase that pays the bills.
Yeah, no, 100%. I totally agree. And he does. Again, I thought he hammered through tonight. I thought, it was one of those things. He did look like he was hampered a little bit, but he got matched up on Trae Young too a couple times, and I thought he held his own. Even though I could tell, that he didn't have the lateral movement. I hope he gets to sit tomorrow. I really do. But I know for a guy, he's probably going to go out there and want to play. I'm not, it's tough to tell a guy that not to play when he wants to. Somebody said that King Craig says KPJ's powers in scoring and handling the ball, that not much of a floor space. That's why Doc doesn't play with Damian Giannis. Doc wants to have the floor space around Giannis. I'll say this. I think that people, and Tish says, LOL, people already set the stage to blame Bobby if we lose. Well, yeah, 100%. Bobby, yeah, well, we'll see how the season goes. He's back. He won't be back for a while. I'll tell you, I saw, again, one of the more prominent Bucks Twitter personalities saying that Bobby should be benched in the playoffs. But again, we'll get the playoff minutes for Jericho Sims. We'll get the playoff minutes in a second here. But to your point, whoever the King Craig, and again, maybe I'm misinterpreting what you're saying. I think there was this prior to this year, at least, there was this notion that in order for to play around Giannis, you just needed all shooters. Remember that was the common thought that, like, well, you just have to get a bunch of shooters around Giannis and everybody open, everybody get out his way, and you don't want to clog the paint. You just have to have shooters. And I think that they are disproving that notion now, that you can only deal with just shoot. Like Kyle Kuzma took 2 threes tonight. He's not a shooter. He was out there the entire time. Not again, I get that you have a lineup that has all shooters with Giannis. And again, I'm not saying you can't have that, but I think there's some people who would have thought, well, Kuzma doesn't make sense with the Bucks and with starting with Giannis because he's not a floor spacer. But if you can attack the rim, I keep saying over and over, you can't leave Kyle Kuzma just open. You cannot do it because, again, he proved it tonight. He can still knock that shot down if you leave him open. And 2, he cuts very, very well. So when you're cut, he had a couple cuts from Giannis that he scored off of. He had a couple cuts. He had the one I believe it was the 4th with Taurean Prince. He got the and one where Taurean Prince, threw one. That was a probably ill-advised pass that Taurean Prince just rifled through there and got it to him. Like, when you're able to cut like that, you can work. And so that's why I get the Kevin Porter Jr. I think that the more creators you have, it's not necessarily all about just pure shooting. Like, if you can create, you can still space the floor because the defense has to pay attention to you. You cannot just let KPJ get to the mid-range. He's hitting. It's kind of flicked the shot, but it goes in. I'm telling you, I just like the versatility of this team and all the different things they can do. And I think ball handlers, as well as guys that can get to, even Gary Trent Jr., who he can shoot and get to the mid-range, I think the more of that you have, the better it is. Now, you can't have, like, true back to the basket guys all over the court with Giannis, but guys that can't actually produce. Like again, I think, like, for example, Like Ajax is tough because he can't do anything offensively, right? But Kyle Kuzma can. Kevin Porter Jr. can. Even in some points, Jericho Sims, but anyway, I digress. I think you can play with that group out there on the floor. Is all I'm really trying to get at.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at who Damian Lillard is, having him in this lineup. Like, you're not always just going to get him to catch and shoot. That's not the type of player he is.
Correct.
We knew that bringing him in there, and he gets to the rim. He gets to the rim here and there, and he also obviously spaces the floor. But that was something Drew Holiday really didn't have in his bag. I mean, he tried. He missed a lot of layups for us. And you see Gary Trent Jr. doing it too. Like, Gary Trent Jr. works well when he can create his own shot out there with Giannis and Dame and that kind of group. So, yeah, I think you're right, Trey. I think that kind of method that they had been using for a long time has kind of been disproven.
Well, I said, and to your point there, Chris, to your point there, you said that, and I saw somebody say that, maybe not here, but on Twitter, at least somebody said that the Bucks are going to be too reliant on Dame and Giannis in the playoffs, and that's going to, it's going to be too much. I think people forget the in 2021 when they won, it was Giannis and it was two guys you relied upon, Giannis and Chris, because I think people are like remembering Drew as like what he was, but in 2021 the playoffs, how many go through the game logs for that Brooklyn series and even that Phoenix, he was a very bad offensive player. I mean terrible. Now, did he have some clutch shots late in games? Yes, he did. I'll never take that away from him. Yes, he absolutely did. He had clutch steals, of course. He had the value ball. Yes, he did have some clutch plays. But just as far as like who you had to rely on offensively throughout large swaths of the game, it was Chris and Giannis. Like Drew was nowhere to be found. He was shooting tour dates. So you can get by with two guys in the playoffs running everything from an offensive standpoint and then trying to fill in the gaps where you can fill them in. Sorry, Justin.
No, well, Game 7, remember, it wasn't even Chris then, and Drew was horrible into the last 2 minutes of the basketball game. It was Giannis, and here we go, chat about to get pissed off at me, and Pat Connaughton. Pat Connaughton kept you in that Game 7 game against the Brooklyn Nets. The thing that I see with these guys, we talking about getting downhill, shout out to Doc Rivers, because we're going to quote him for a second. These guys get downhill, and you saw it at the end of the game today where Dame and Giannis two-man game, Giannis got downhill, and where was Brook? In the dunker. So these guys are getting downhill, but they have court vision to be able to find someone else, whether it's a three, whether it's a layup, whether it's a dunk. And that's the thing that I see that's amazing. And KPJ can shoot the ball well enough to be dangerous. Kyle Kuzma can shoot the ball well enough to be dangerous. We're not going to leave them open in the corner like you did Gay, because they're going to do the same exact thing that Gay did to us tonight. So, hey, man, this is a good thing. And, I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff in the chat's going crazy about Gary Trent Jr. Hey, man, that's just another dog. This team 1 through 15 might have 15 dogs on it, finally.
Yeah, no, a lot has changed. A lot has changed. With that, the deadline changed a lot of things. Yeah, it really did. It changed the athleticism, the youth, the energy of this basketball team has totally changed. And I'm not just talking about Kuzma. You have to include Kevin Porter Jr. and Jericho Sims with that. Like, this is a different basketball team, and they look like it. They are not as tired. I mean, again, think about this. You are getting by and winning these games with Giannis on the minutes restriction. You couldn't fathom that early. Like, they were having to play 37, 38, 39 minutes, Giannis and Dame, just to try to stay in games for the entire portion of the game. You got with no Bobby Portis, you got 40 points from your bench, 15 from Gary Trent Jr., 15 from Kevin Porter Jr., 8 from AJ. That's the thing. We're at the point now where, like, AJ Green, he has a couple big threes every night, and they're almost like, I don't even want to say after, but I'm almost like, it's hard to even to throw those in as like, oh yeah, and AJ Green had a good night too, because so many guys are having good nights now. Like, Gary Trent 15 is like, I'm almost expecting Gary Trent to play like that. I mean, like that, like, again, on a minimum deal, like this is that you can. I hope you're starting to see the vision. You can 100% win like this. let's keep rolling here. I know we have a back-to-back, so I'm gonna try not to hold us here all night. I want to go to the next topic, that is playoff minutes. Right now, of course, Bobby Portis is coming back. Again, I told you before, I saw one of the bigger content creators on Twitter for the Bucks and Bucks Twitter saying that thinks that Bobby Portis shouldn't play at all in the playoffs because Jericho Sims should get some of those minutes. This starting group right here, even if you add, you can do it, whatever, but even if you take Taurean Prince out and put Gary Trent Jr. or AJ Green into the game, and I want the chat to answer this too, even if you put one of those guys into the game for Taurean Prince, Prince is still going to play. So your 5 starters tonight, Kuzma, Giannis, Brook, Prince, Lillard, that's 5. AJ Green is going to get some minutes. Gary Trent Jr. is 100% getting minutes. That's 7. Kevin Porter Jr. is your backup point guard now. He's got to get minutes, I would think. That's 8. And again, a lot of times in the playoffs, 8 deep is pretty much a lot of coaches will be afraid to go any further than 8 deep. That's 8 right there. And then you're talking about Bobby Portis as, 9. And then there's a question of Jericho Sims is much more athletic than Brook Lopez. He's much more even athletic than a Bobby Portis. He brings a different dynamic to the team. That's Jericho Sims. You have 10 legitimate guys that can play in the playoffs. My question to you guys, my question to the chat is, if you're Doc Rivers, how are you divvying this up? Who is losing minutes to when Bobby Portis plays like 20, 25, 20. What is he? I don't know what he averages minutes-wise. Somebody tell me. But when he comes back, he's got to get something. Who is losing minutes to Bobby Portis? Who should lose minutes? Kevin Porter Jr. got 12 minutes tonight. Should he? I see people in the chat, and Chris said it too. He should get more. Before we got on air, Chris said, if I see 12 minutes beside Kevin Porter Jr.'s name, I'm going crazy. Who is he taking minutes from? Taurean Prince? Gary Trent Jr. plays 24 minutes tonight. He had 15 points. You could argue he could have played 30 tonight. Who is losing and getting minutes here? And oh, by the way, this was a moment where Giannis only played 34. He's going to get more than that in the playoffs. Dame plays 36. He's probably going to be pushing 40 in the playoffs. How are you divvying up these minutes?
Well, this is a loaded question. And it's tough. It's tough to really answer because this is a great problem to have, by the way. Like Doc and those guys on the staff, I'm glad they're earning their paycheck for this because this is like a mathematical problem that's almost tough solving. But what I think really needs to happen is, look, you're winning games right now. You don't have Bobby Portis. And you got to try to get the best matchup in the playoffs that you can. Whether that's, making sure you get to the 3 seed, try to push for that 3 seed and get that 6 seed, or, whether it's Detroit and Indiana in the 4-5 game, because I think that'll help them as well, kind of experiment a little bit in the playoffs. But as far as, minutes goes and who would lose minutes to me, I mean, man, it's hard to say that TP as a 40-some% three-point shooter should lose out on some minutes, but I just don't think laterally, if they're going to keep playing him at that 2 spot, I don't think he can stay in front of some of the premier guards and premier talent in the Eastern Conference. So I think TP loses a little bit of minutes. I think in terms of AJ Green and Gary Trent Jr., Gary has showed me a lot. Defensively and offensively on both sides of the ball. But I think, you're getting to that point where AJ Green is more of a microwave scorer at this point. Sometimes he struggles standing in front of guys and he fouls a little bit too much. So maybe he loses a little bit of minutes. We already know Rollins. We already know Rollins and Ajax. They're cooked. But I will also say if Bobby comes back and he looks the part, I think Brook loses a little bit of minutes as well, because Sims has just been phenomenal in terms of throwing somebody out there that is energetic, that can go play defense, that can alter shots. It's not even just about block shots, right? Like, get out there and alter shots from some of these good bigs. I think it worked well tonight against Capella. So I think that's where you're looking at with the bigs as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with a lot of the both of you. I think that shaving Brook Lopez minutes, especially early on in these series, is going to do nothing but benefit the guy because he's 36 years old. Hopefully what we'll be doing is we'll be up by a lot on some of these teams to start out the playoffs, and you can shave some off of Giannis or even Dame. Like, my idea would be to get rest and get these guys hopefully ready for a strong Eastern Conference Finals push. However, we know the playoffs are a different basketball game. So I do think it's going to be matchup dependent. I know we talked about 10 heavy, but I can even see a spot where an Andre Jackson Jr. or Ryan Rollins can get on the floor in the playoffs as well. Because think about it, in that Brooklyn Nets series, remember, Thanasis Antetokounmpo, it was a small serving size of him, but he definitely got on the floor. And I can see an Ajax playing 2 or 3 minutes of the playoff game to kind of get in front of somebody. Or if we get a shifty guard like Trae Young that's cooking Torian Prince or cooking someone else, you might need to put an Ajax on that floor to slow somebody up. And hell, let's not forget it. This is the playoffs. Both those guys on the bench, along with a couple of them other dudes, there's 6 fouls. We might need a hard foul here and now because this is where you play for keeps. There's no more helping you up and doing all this other stuff, man. But it's like Chris said, it's such a loaded question. You don't go wrong with the decision, and there's so many great options. And hell, we might be able to run a 10-man rotation in the playoff, something that's not been seen. But Bobby got a lot of work to do when he gets back on the floor too. So we'll see. Can't wait for it though.
Yeah, and you know, all great points, and you know, and we mentioned like, oh, this is a great problem to have. Like, it is. The question is it? Because I remember thinking with Mike Budenholzer that I almost wanted some of those fringe guys that you think about to like, I'd rather them not be on the roster so that Bud couldn't even have an option of playing some of those guys, because I felt like, you know, there were some times where Bud like made those wrong decisions. And you can make the wrong decision. I know we say like, oh, this is great. You can make the wrong decision. And I'm telling you, you throw out AJ Green for a 6-minute stint, and it's like, and he's fouling and ain't hitting shot. And it's like, oh, man, what are we doing? You throw Prince out there when it's like, and Garrett Trudrin was cooking all night for 5. And it's like, man, those 5. That's the thing about the playoffs. That's the thing about the playoffs that is so much different than the regular season. Every possession is important. And if you don't make the right moves, a possession here, a possession there, second, third quarter even, can lose you a basketball game. That's a problem. And so Dr. Rivers is going to have to be on it and 100% thinking about it. And I think Brook Lopez, somebody said, you know, talking about shaving minutes, you got to shave his neck. But
That's a good one.
Brook Lopez. But Brook, you know, I think he does. I think again, it's matchup dependent. Like you said, I think you play if you're in the finals, you're playing Denver. Yeah, he's gonna get some minutes on Joker. That's a long way away. But you know, if you're talking about a series against the Pacers, it's tough. You know, with now you tell me against Detroit, I think our size is killing them. You got Jalen Duran in there, whatever. If it's Detroit. Oh, yeah, Brook Lopez should play. If it's the Knicks and Karl Towns, you get there are some with Jalen Brunson trying to get you in the 1-5 pick and roll, with Tyrese Halliburton trying to get you 1-5 pick and roll with Miles Turner. There are some with Jason Tatum telling Kristaps Porzingis to come up and get you in the pick and roll. Justin, I know you're probably eating popcorn watching that HBO special on the Boston Celtics documentary, whatever the hell.
I hate them boys.
Exactly, but yeah, no. Again, these are all questions that you have to figure out, and it's gonna be interesting when Bobby Portis comes back. How do they do it? What do they do? And what does this thing look like for the Milwaukee Bucks? You know what I want to see. What things look like. You know where I want to see what they look like at. Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. That's where I got to go. That's what I need to see. You know that out in Lake Pewaukee, Wisconsin, get on out to Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. During all televised Milwaukee Bucks games, they have $3 bottles and pints. That is right, folks, $3 bottles and pints. So that means on Sunday, the 9th, March 9th, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, ESPN Bucks playing the Cavaliers. $3 bottles and pints. You know it on Wednesdays and Thursdays. You know what they're doing, right?
Bingo and trivia.
And if you do bingo and trivia, you know what you're getting, right?
Bucks tickets.
You're getting Bucks tickets. You're getting Justin's Bucks tickets. Section 102, row 23 seats 1 and 2. Head on down to Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. Tell them the Grooves sent you. Tell them the Cream City Crossover sent you. Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. Great food, great eats. Proud sponsor of the Cream City Crossover. Fellas, tonight, go ahead.
go drink them out them $3 ones Sunday when we beat them Cavaliers.
There you go. That'll also be another one that is a back-to-back. Bass says Bud is still helping teams beat Kevin Durant. They have a tough time out there in Phoenix. That's a good one too. They're having a tough time out there. They really are. Let me see. Duale24 says Lopez can't play against Miles Turner. Also says Cat killed Brook in that first game. And the Suns are again right now are down to the Clippers 45-39. So again, talking about Mike Budenholzer. But let's go to the Twitter. Let's see what Twitter has to say about this one. At Die Hard says that KPJ needs more minutes is critical. Here's his per 36 stats. Now you guys know per 36 is my absolute. That's probably the stat I hate the most. I can't stand nobody telling me no damn per 36 because what I always say, if you doing it per 36, do it. Go out there 36 minutes and do it. Then that's per 36. You can't do it in 36 minutes. But his per 36, we'll read it. He would be averaging 20.1 points per game, 3.9 steals per game, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 turnovers. So yeah, he'd be averaging 20 and 4 steals if he was hypothetically playing 36 minutes a night. I don't think so. Porke No Gooey says the groove they're finding is really promising. How do you integrate Bobby Portis back into the second unit without sacrificing defense? Can he take on the task? Sing glimmers for sure. KPJ looked great in the fourth. You know what? I'll stop us there. Let's go to Porke No Gooey's question. He says, and I ask you guys this, how do you integrate Bobby Portis back into the second unit without sacrificing defense? Can he take on that task? That's a good question. I'm interested in your guys' answer.
Well, so the thing is tough because who is it? Who's out there normally? It's Sims, it's KPJ.
Sims, KPJ, AJ, Kuzma a lot of times finds himself out with that lineup. Yeah. And then what's that? Kuz, KPJ, AJ, Sims,
TP,
and no, Gary Trent is usually out there.
Okay, yeah, Gary Trent.
So you're saying Bobby Portis would jump in there? Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, so the thing is, right, like Kuz normally goes with that group and then leaks into with Dame and Giannis to kind of close out games with that group. So I would say, I mean, maybe it's so hard to take Kuz's defense out.
Right.
So, I mean, maybe you go take one of those guys out, the shooting guards, AJ Green probably, and you take him out, and then you've got another rebounder with Bobby, because you're not taking Sims out, you're not going small with that group. So yeah, I would probably take AJ Green out and let it rock.
Well, that's a good question. Again, these are all good questions. Or are you? Because again, if you think about it, the Bucks have played a lot of Kyle Kuzma to 3. His natural position is probably the 4. Like he's played, I believe they had to say he played most of his minutes in the NBA, I believe, at the 4. So
you could take Sims out.
You could, yeah, but then do you want to leave Bobby Portis as your de facto rim protector? Again, these are questions for Doc Rivers, and that's why we're asking you guys what you think about that.
I think those last 5 games are going to be so huge, or 4 games, or however many he has left, just to get a glimpse of it. It doesn't even matter who we play. I mean, can't start that second unit, but you might have to start him some games because we're at the end and we've already clinched that 3 seed. Let's go ahead, like Trey taught me how to do when I get to the South, and speak it into existence. It's going to be interesting, though. What I'm hoping is that Bobby comes back in and defense is infectious, because I do believe since that trade deadline, I think Brook Lopez is playing better basketball. And some of those straight line drives, you see them from time to time, but you see a lot more guys rotating with Kyle Kuzma on that floor and covering up some of that stuff that we didn't see when said guy was here before, because he was beat so quick. And a lot of times it was a BS take foul. Just call it what it is. We're only talking about 2025, though, so don't get mad at us. So it's going to be really interesting. I think Bobby is going to have to play well, and I think Bobby's going to go into that category that AJ Green and some of these other guys are. If you're not hitting, you got to go sit next to Darvin, point blank, period.
Yeah, no, again, it's a great question about trying to get Bobby Portis back to the second unit and figuring out what he can do. Those 5 games will be important. And I'll say this, I don't know what they're going to do. You can't have a repeat of last year. I don't care what happens last week of the season. I don't know where we'll be at standings-wise. Giannis, them last 3-4 games, I think Giannis will be out. Honestly, I could not risk an injury. I really don't know that I'd play him the last week of the season. And I'd get him ready for playoffs. Drew Behringer, keep rolling here on Twitter. Drew Behringer says, didn't see him getting to 10 games over 500. Drew Behringer can't see the Bucks winning the game. It just, they win it. He's like, what? He says, but I'm happy nonetheless. Don't care about being wrong about that one. Are the Bucks peaking at the right time? I think it's a little early to say peaking. We'll see. We'll see after this road. We'll see, like I said, starting on Sunday, what this thing looks like. At 14, Coco Chicks says, always love a win, but really wish they would start blowing out these lesser teams. Bucks 3-point shooting was horrendous tonight. That's what made it a game. Rmill53 says, Gary has to close games. Prince cannot be starting anymore. At no DPI, please, says, Giannis wanting the free throws made me laugh, but he's hitting them at a much better rate. No better time to peak. NYC Randy says, so many game balls to go around in this win. Kuzma with an amazing defense and efficient offense. Dame with one eye was cooking. KPJ is where I think I have to go with this. He's just a dog. Giannis, best player in the world. Great win. Quick Draw McGraw says, great team win. The offense is trending up. The new additions have changed his team, adding Bobby like Thanos, getting the final Infinity Stone. I am convinced only Brook Lopez can stop us. Let's go, Bucks. At the Wisconsin Kid says, good win. Game ball goes to KPJ in the fourth. Slopez tried to blow the game by being lazy. Great game from Kuz, Trent, Giannis, and Dame. Let's keep this thing going. I'll do two more here. At the Wisconsin Kid again said, 6-1 since PED Porter's suspension. That's a good one. And I'll do one more. Just Sports Guy 91 says, Kuz was great tonight. Best game as a Buck. Surviving a terrible 3-point shooting night is big. Okay, so anyway, that's what we got here. King says Kuz would take Bobby in that second team. Again, I think I've seen a lot of people saying that Bobby's like, they think Bobby's gonna lose minutes. Again, I think he may lose some minutes. I don't think he's not playing at all. I just don't see it. I don't see it at all.
Yeah, it would be hard for what did he say? Take out Kuz?
Yeah, well, no, he was saying that Kuz would take Bobby in the second team. Like basically, Bobby wouldn't have the second team unit anymore. That the four in that second unit would be Kuz instead of Bobby.
Yeah, I think you play them both. I just think Bobby does provide some offense for you, and maybe you do give him a little bit of room to operate in a pick and roll with KPJ. So, yeah, I would probably take out one of the shooting guards.
Man, we just at a point where we just got a lot of hoopers, man, and we just got to let these dudes hoop. I don't think we're peaking too early or peaking at the right time or anything like that. I finally think we're collectively playing Milwaukee Bucks basketball. And starting 2-8 to being here now, we're in a great situation to be in. Bobby's going to come in and he's going to get his – I think his scoring may dip a little bit. He's going to get his 10-7, 10-8, and then he's going to go sit next to Darvin Ham too, man. But, leave it to the Wisconsin kid. He sits there and he bitches about Lopez not getting rebounds. Lopez get 13 rebounds, and then Lopez, like, dog, we get it. He had a bad – like, you want to look at one bad play in a basketball game and crucify this man. Well, let's crucify Giannis for the turnover in the second quarter. Let's crucify Taurean Prince for his bad box out. Let's crucify KPJ. Dog, stop looking at one play trying to crucify a man. The dude played good basketball tonight. If you told me Lopez had 13 and 13, I'm going to go ahead and have a parade down Wisconsin Avenue for that alone. I don't think he got 13 rebounds ever in his career since he was at Stanford. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I'll say this though, and again, this is again, I'm trying to tell you, and this is the I hate to say it. There's an analytics side of Bucks Twitter that like starts just all numbers, and so again, there's this. So a tweet came as a 6-1 since Bobby got suspended, and then your boy, I'm just reading the tweet here I saw from Nathan Marzion says, observing the one thing Bobby provided was that he was valuable. The one thing he provided that was valuable before the deadline was rebounding, which is why they struggled when he was out. Now with Kuzma and Sims, they don't even need that. I'm actually worried about what happens when he comes back. So you are starting it. There is a group that is starting to get very concerned about what it looks like. And again, the only concern that I kind of share is is he going to take away shots from better? And that's why, again, this is why Kuzma, let me say this too. This is why Kuzma's been so good, is because he has come into this line. He's come into this Bucks team, and he hasn't he hasn't done what he's done in Washington, where it was, yeah, you just get the green light, you shoot all day long. What he's done is come in. Kuzma is on like this. I said this during the game. One of the things I really like about Kuzma, you talk about a guy who is like constantly looking for Giannis. He will pass up drives to the basket and he looks for Dame too. There was a moment in the other game where, I mean, I don't think there would have been any issue if he drove it to the basket and took his own layup. It would have been contested, but he could have took. But there was a play where, and I think the Bucks retweeted, he's driving the basket and he kind of circles back out because he sees Dame circling, gets to the Dame hits a three. He is 100% looking for Dame and Giannis. The issue when you have a Bobby Portis is looking for Bobby Portis. He just is. We didn't call him Black Hole Bobby for nothing. Like, he gets the ball on the block and goes, it's my time to shine. And again, this team, if you talk about defense being infectious and seeing more from a defense standpoint. What the other thing I've seen, honestly, I'm not joking, I think I've seen more ball movement. Now, again, can they start getting magnet ball when KPJ is going crazy? Yes, they can. That second unit can get a little magnet bally because they don't know what to do almost because the only real shot creator is KPJ sometimes. So I can see where you would dump into Bobby, but again, there are legitimate questions as to who should have the ball and how the ball should move, and there are questions that Bobby would ultimately stop the ball from moving. But we'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and it's also on short notice. My bad, Justin. It's also on short notice. Like, he's allowed to practice, right? So I guess if you try it in practice and it looks good and you see some of that duo stuff working with him and KPJ, or the ball, he's able to ISO a little bit. We hate his ISOs, but if he's able to do some of that, and be efficient at it, then I think that would be good for the Bucks. I just think, with 4 games left in the season to bring him back, you're going to have to bring him back in some sort of lineup. Like, I don't think he's necessarily going to be played off of the floor in most matchups. So I think it's unfortunate that we're not able to try this out now, right? Like, it would be better if we just read the prescriptions that Doc gave us. Just a little tough, but looking forward to seeing it when it comes.
Hey, Trey, who the dude that said that they was worried about Bobby coming back? What's his name?
Marzion. That's our guy Nate.
I take Chris King over him 7 days a week and twice on Sunday, man. I almost anyways.
I'm just reading a tweet. That's what he said.
Yeah, I know. Shout out to the Super Cornballs on Twitter, though.
Hey, yo, why you had to
give a damn.
Why you had to do that,
hey, everything Chris King just said, man. That's just spot on, man. And like Chris said, man, they're practicing together. I think what Quick Joe McGraw said in the chat, though, he said, I think with Bobby Portis, we're going to go from a strong rebounding team to a dominant rebounding team. I think rebounding becomes this team's new identity. And that's about as great as you can put it, man. Between Chris King and him, man, I don't need to say nothing else. I said too much about the dude that tweeted anyways. Don't be a Bucks fan and be a Cubs fan. F out of here.
All right. Why you gotta do that? All right, let's go. All right,
dog, guys. Raised on the east side. I don't know how to be nothing but it.
Yeah. Let's go to game ball tonight. You guys in the chat, give us your game ball. Who should have a game ball? See, King says KPJ. I'll go first with the game ball. And I'm going to agree with King of King. I'm going to go Kevin Porter Jr. game ball tonight. 15 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 6 of 7 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3. He was again, I go to say, I don't care what the numbers say. I really don't. It's what did I watch? Basketball's meant to be watched, not read. Kevin Porter Jr. was a factor tonight. And he kept the Bucks in this thing in the fourth quarter. That 6-minute stretch that he played in the fourth was, his dominant offensive basketball, as you can see. and it kept the Bucks afloat, kept them right in it. The Bucks, again, I mentioned the stat before, they were +5 from when Giannis went out, and that started at 4. Bucks were down 3. Giannis came back in. They were up 2. You don't see that often, and they did that all on the back of Kevin Porter Jr. offensively. So Kevin Porter Jr. gets my game ball. What say you guys?
Got to go Giannis. Triple-double, 26, 11, and 10. I thought he did a good job of establishing himself early, and let Dame cook a little bit too. And then, late getting to that turnaround spin mid-range, that's always a good sign. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Giannis, triple-double.
Man, y'all going to have to choose one more. One of y'all two going to have to choose JT's. But I'm going to go, man, it's a lot of different ways I could go, man. But I'm going to go Kuzma, man. I mean, coming back on a hurt ankle, +3 tonight. I think he had 17, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
What do you have, 17? 17?
Yep.
17 and 10 on a bum ankle. I mean, the whole year I made excuses for ankles, so this guy played on a sore one, so can't go away from that. I think his ball, his vision, him leading that second team, playing along with KPJ was a big reason why we have this win. And I don't, shout out to Tony World too, man, because that's a good one too. But I'm gonna stick with Kuz. I just thought being available. I learned that from the guru. You got to be here to be able to hoop, man. And that's key for our Bucks. It allows Giannis to not exert so much energy as well.
To Tony World goes with Dame. He says Dame closed. I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. Dame did close that game out with a couple nice buckets and a nice layup as well, and good stuff all the way around. I think if JT was given the game ball, he likes to give it to the bench mob guys. So I think he'd go Gary Trent Jr. with 15, 6 or 10 from the field. He was a +1 tonight. Gary Trent just has such a smooth game. It's getting to the point where I like a guy like Gary Trent Jr. because it's a quiet 15. It didn't feel like it was really in your face. Like Kevin Porter Jr.'s 15 was real in your face, in a flurry. Gary Trent just ball all night long. I'm just gonna ball, and I'll finish with 15 on 6 10 shooting. Tish says game ball and go to a few people for different reasons. Giannis was cooking with the assist. Brooks stepped up on defense in the second half. Dame hitting closing shots. KPJ crashing the Hawks. And then George Garrett says I'm going with Doc for staying true to his rotation with the new guys. That's where the game ball goes for Tish. For George Garrett. So good stuff there.
Absolutely.
Let's go into let's look around tonight into the NBA. 127-121. Bucks beat the Hawks. Clippers are up 65-49 on the Phoenix Suns right now. Oof. The Lakers are, again, talk about some of the hottest teams in basketball. The LA Lakers with Luka Doncic, one of the hottest teams in the Western Conference, 39-33 right now over the Pels in the second quarter. Magic take a loss. They were playing really well, and they've started to cool down just a bit. Now 29-34. They lose to the Raptors tonight, 114-113. Pacers pick up a win over the
That's been their downfall.
He is out. Pacers pick up a win over the Rockets. They keep themselves. They get their 10 games over 500. Warriors beat the Knicks. Everybody's talking about, can you get to this third spot? It's gonna be tough, but you're 5 games out or so. And a night like tonight, you pick up a full game on the Knicks. Warriors 114, Knicks 102. Timberwolves beat the Sixers tonight. Cavaliers beat the Bulls. They are 51-10. Spurs beat the Nets tonight, 26 and 34. 127-113. They're 26 and 34. Some cellar dwellers there. Anything, just talking about, just going around. All thing I guess I get to is, of course, you saw what happened with Kyrie Irving. That was tough watching him last night. And just in general, can you have a worse month than the Dallas Mavericks? You trade your best player, you bring in Anthony Davis, you then trash talk Luka Doncic, who just got you to a finals, took you to West Conference Finals before that. Luka Doncic is now, we just mentioned he was on the Lakers, who look like they could easily come out of the West right now. Who knows? But they're red hot. You then bring Anthony Davis, who the crowd gets behind for 3 quarters, and he's out. There are reports now that Anthony Davis is huddling with his boys at Clutch. I'm like, you know what? We should probably shut this down for the season. Kyrie then tears his ACL, so that's going to be extended absence for him. Oh, yeah, and if you want to go before that, the guy you had who was also balling, Brunson, is in New York, and you let him go too. So, I mean, I don't know what Nico Harrison. I don't know. I don't know where you go right now. And if you're Klay Thompson, the Warriors are playing well. Klay Thompson went to Dallas to go play with Luka Doncic. How do you think he feels? Anyway, it's tough.
Yeah, obviously not good. This is, no matter how I tried to spin it, or when the trade first broke, no matter how I tried to be like, yeah, well, their timelines match up. Yeah, their timelines matched up, but it's because of injuries. They're both hurt. Now both of that big two in Dallas is both hurt. It's just it's a bad series of luck, man. Like, at the end of the day, like, you saw the vision. You saw them. Well, how many games did they play together? Maybe 2, 3? You saw the vision for a little bit.
Who?
Kyrie and AD. What they play?
No, they played literally 3 quarters.
Oh,
they played 3 quarters.
Well, yeah. See, that's yeah. I mean, this kind of had the writing on the wall, though, for all the people who were saying AD is he's always in street clothes. So
street clothes.
Yeah.
Kyrie has injury history too. I mean.
Yep.
And he was playing, and after the trade, Kyrie was averaging 39 minutes a night.
But
and still losing. Like, they
still lose and tears ACL. So anyway, yeah.
But AD is always G'd up on them street clothes though, man. He might be, after Pat Connaughton, might be the best dude in street clothes dress, man. Because Pat a little bit swaggy Patty C. I like him good in street clothes too. I'm hoping that the guru will give us a little reprieve on that bet, Chris King, because FanDuel, when your boy gets injured, they kind of just void the bet. So we hoping that he can void the bet. I think I was on board. We had something about the Mavericks that me and Chris King were on, and I was like, yeah, I kind of agree with the young homie. And look a little bit.
Y'all lucky y'all remember that. Yeah, I'm just like fan. There ain't no injury designations for me. Y'all lucky y'all remember that.
I didn't accept it. I was scared.
Well, I definitely did, but praise the Lord, he forgot it, so we just gonna move on then. That's how we go. Yeah, but hey, man, the thing that I just saw that was so great from Kyrie Irving, man, and it may be something small to a lot of people, but going and hitting them 2 free throws with a torn ACL at that line, I thought that's just a testament of the guy that he admires so much, Kobe Bryant. It's just it's a tough loss. I hate it for Kyrie. I think that Bucks fans, we talk about John Horst. We get frustrated with Horst sometimes and stuff like that. But you could have this clown dude down there in Dallas, man. And God dog, man, he's probably gonna trade Jason Kidd next if he could. Like, it's just bad. Heart goes out to you, Dallas fans. Hopefully we beat the hell out of you tomorrow, man. And, y'all have a good offseason. Y'all get a good draft, man. Play that boy from Marquette.
Kristen Gallagher back in the chat says, Chris, you look good tonight. So.
I appreciate it. See, it's actually Gallego, man. We got to get
Gallego.
Right.
Sorry, my bad.
Gallego. Get that right. I just had to step in.
Can we get a look around at that Dayton Flyers softball game while we at it, big dog?
Hey, yeah, man. Big weekend.
Go ahead, give us the score.
I went to a game on Sunday. They won 5-2. Dayton basketball team won today. It's just all good vibes in the 9 through 7. Dave Chappelle pulled up to the basketball game.
There you go.
Yeah, good vibes in the sports world. They play. The girls play. Who is it? Miami tomorrow. Tisch of Ohio.
Okay, yeah. Shout out Dayton.
Well, shout out to Chris with the 5-2 win, man. Big stuff.
Tish says the Knicks signed Beauchamp. Yeah, he's not gonna get no time over there. So she says, come on. If I was in Dayton, I'd be there. I would be there. But Chris will be there in my steed.
He gonna represent the Cream City crossover.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, never home.
There you go. SG says, I was at the Bucks Mavs game. I feel so bad for Mavs fans. They were still coming out supporting the players. I saw a lot of people talking about they're going to cancel their season tickets. One of the worst jobs now got to be a season ticket rep for the Dallas Mavericks. These poor, young people are these season ticket reps just trying to sell them season tickets. Yeah, and you're getting berated by fans who are canceling their season ticket memberships. What else? Go ahead.
So if you're in Dallas, just get ready for Rangers baseball, man. We're gonna ride this thing out, man. We're gonna have a good, strong year, man. A little brother gonna get that closer ball, hopefully in his hand, and we gonna cook. But hey, man, it's gonna be a long year for basketball for y'all next year. It's gonna be a long year for football. Yeah. I mean, y'all ain't got nothing left but baseball, so jump on that wave.
Yeah, no, it's always rough, rough in Dallas right now. I don't know what the Stars are doing, but anyway, I don't know enough about hockey. What else we got, fellas? Trying to think. I don't know. I did see the only thing I have is I saw, huh?
Oh, I was gonna be like, we got our thing we've been talking about in the chat. Let's get to Brother Tay with the bounce pass of the year with old hating old Bill. Blocked the dunk of the year, man.
Oh yeah. I thought I was supposed to say Devontae Adams. No. Him too. No, yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, last night that happened. And I was watching it, and it was just funny that so the Timberwolves are playing the Phoenix Suns, and Anthony Edwards is going who threw the pass?
Dante DiVincenzo.
Oh, that's DiVincenzo. So Dante DiVincenzo did the bounce pass up, as the game's basically over, and just bounces it up in the air, and you see Anthony Davis come in that bounced pretty high. Anthony Edwards got up there, and Bradley Beal just pushed him a la Chris Paul with Giannis in the finals. But yeah, he got a flagrant, and I know people were upset about it, but I'll say this again: should you push a guy in midair? Is it a dangerous play? Absolutely. But that's one again. That reminded me of not the same way, but remember Giannis ran over Mike Dunleavy, and you can't. And again, to me, it's one of those things where I think it was last year, the end of football season, where the game was over with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they were trying to get, I think they're playing the Saints, and they're trying to get Mike Evans 1,000 yards, whatever it is, right? Dog, I am DPI every it's the end of the game. I'm DPI every play. You're not getting 1,000 on me. You're not doing it for the sake of doing it. I've seen teams get these three that they'd be on pace for they're breaking their franchise record in threes, and so they're trying to hit they're trying to just jack up threes the last 30 seconds. No, I'm not going to let you do that. And so this is one of those instances where, again, within here's the thing. The only thing I don't like is in the games people will steal the ball or people run do the layup in the game, and then you get mad after the fact. If you let them do it, you let them do it. I'm not gonna get mad at you after you did it. But if I have an opportunity to stop you while you're doing it, oh no, I'm gonna do that. So I understand why Bradley Beal did it. Doesn't make it right. Should he have something? Fine. Was it a dangerous play? Yes. But I understand why he did it. I'm not letting you showboat on me at the end of the game. Nah. And all I'm saying is I get it.
Yeah, I'm hard fouling every time. I'm not letting this top 10 Sports Center type play be had after we just lost and our season is crumbling to the bits. Their season is almost done, and now you're just basically making us even more of a clown show in this league. So yeah, I may even jump up and tackle him. Yeah, I'm not letting you dunk that. That's BS.
As much as I want to disagree with both of y'all, I'm on the same page with you, man. I'm a sore loser. If Giannis had dunked, if Rudy Gobert had dunked on Giannis and the joint was flipped, I'd have been pissed about it. So I get it, man. I just really wanted to see it as not a fan of the Suns or the Timberwolves. Dante looked like he had to pass right on the money, man, but you can't get mad at Bill for protecting his home court, man. That's what you're supposed to do. All of us has played some level of basketball, football, baseball, something in life. You can't hot dog it. That's why pitchers throw at guys in baseball. Trey, you mentioned it, the DPI. It brings me back to another thing with the tush push, and Commanders kept jumping off sides with it and stuff like that. It comes to a certain level in time where you just kind of got to protect your home court. The only other thing that I would like to see on this look around, and then I'll be quiet until it's time to say goodbye. I would like the homie Chris King to give us a little bit of a breakdown of all these college basketball tournaments coming up, man. I know we're in the midst of the Horizon League. My Milwaukee Panthers start Thursday against TBD. You got what do we have? ACC women's tournament jumping off, but I know my homie Chris King is knee deep in the college basketball. You shed a little light what we got coming up, big homie.
Well, but before you do that, I wanted to say, I think that we want to. I think that Crib City Crossover wants to do. Are we in agreement that we're going to do a March Madness bracket tournament?
Yeah.
And what do we do? I think we do what $10. We have to figure this out. We'll do what $10 sheets, something like that, and we'll figure out this percentage to break down. That we want to break down first, second, third place. As many sheets as you want. I think that'd be cool. And so we'll have more information on that. If you guys want to do it, we'll figure that out. We'll get the information out to you probably in the next couple shows or whatever. And let's do that. Let's do it. Let's do a bracket challenge, the Cream City Crossover bracket challenge. Win some money and have some fun on that. I think that'd be fun to see who can take the crown of the Cream City Crossover. Had the best knowledge on March Madness. Go ahead, Chris King. Take it away. Give us a little bit that you got in the college landscape.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is obviously the teams that have been floating around is Duke and Auburn. It's them versus the field, is what a lot of people are saying. Because I do think that both of those teams are very deep and very dominant. But yeah, in terms of conference tournaments, none of the big ones start until next weekend. But the ones right now, obviously you got the Horizon League. That's always fun to get us started. I believe the Atlantic Sun is down to 4. The Sun Belt Conference it started today, I think. So yeah, I mean, just in terms of teams from Wisconsin, you obviously probably not really worried about Green Bay doing anything in the Horizon League Conference tournament. They've only got 4 wins.
They lost tonight.
Yeah,
they're out.
Yep, they're out. UW Milwaukee's been good, but the Horizon League is very competitive, so obviously anybody can really take it. Robert Morris, a team that's up there.
And Auburn just lost.
IPFW, yeah, Auburn did just lose. They lost by like 11. So, yeah, I mean, obviously Marquette, Badgers, they'll be in the field. Nicholas Hazlitt says Alabama's tough. Yeah, man, I think Houston, it's always they always have a team that's at least capable of getting there. They've had some bad luck, but Kelvin Sampson's team's really hooping. The big surprise of college basketball is Kansas. They paid all this money. A.J. Storr, who was once a Wisconsin Badger, is playing like absolute trash right now. He left for the bag, and that just shows some of these kids that not everything's greener on the other side. So, just some surprising stuff there, and we'll kind of see what takes place. But I'm definitely excited to see some of these college basketball games going. Hopefully, my team can make the NCAA tournament.
Hey, so one I don't mean to interject, but one thing, Trey Cosby, the guru. What these Howard folks gonna do down here in the MEAC in Norfolk, Virginia?
That's what I want.
Y'all gonna come to show up, or what? What's going on?
Norfolk State looks good, man.
They do. Norfolk looks strong.
I have no clue what they do in basketball. All I know is my little homie going down there. I can't remember his name now for the life of me, but he going down. He playing next. He got a scholarship going down there next year. But I don't know what the hell Howard got going on this year. I couldn't even tell you. Couldn't tell you. I know they lost the other night to Norfolk State, though. I saw that. Well, I didn't see it, but I saw it come across my screen.
We might need a Cream City crossover live from the MEAC, man.
Hey,
maybe we a Goody Mob to come up.
Goody Mob was in the building tonight in ATL. Nicholas Hazard says Doug Gottlieb. And then my dad texts me says, so going back to the previous conversation, he says, why are you mad when Chris Paul does it? And so again, the difference with Chris Paul is he's doing it he's being dirty in the middle of it. This is regular basketball that's happening. And Chris Paul, the difference is the guys ain't just showboating in Chris Paul. There's a difference when guys are showboating and I'm trying to stop you from showboating versus I'm gonna punch Julius Hodge in the nuts during an ACC tournament, or I'm gonna do something dirty. That's the difference with Chris Paul. So anyway, Chris
Right.
Paul, he's a different cat. He doing it in regular course of a game. He pushing Giannis as I'm trying to in midair. I'm sticking my foot out in the middle, in third quarter. Giannis is trying to dribble. That's the difference. Your hot dogging is it's a little bit different.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
absolutely.
But yeah, that's all I got. I don't have anything else you guys want to get to before we roll up out of here.
No, just as the Bucks are concerned in terms of maybe last words, we take these wins for granted sometimes, but I know that when it was sitting at 2-8 and we didn't know if the light was going to be at the end of the tunnel, I mean, we were sure we were going to get it right, but when we were at 2-8, hey, this was a game that was probably in the losing column, and you're just glad to see that this Bucks team has now won. What is it now? 7 of 8?
7 of their last 8.
7 of 8. So how about that? And let's go get 8 of 9 tomorrow versus a team that we should beat.
I appreciate everyone in the chat tonight, everyone on Twitter, you two gentlemen being here with us, man. It's a great time to be 10 games above 500. Like Chris just kind of alluded to, 2-8. I didn't know if we would ever see this. We're in a good spot. If the Knicks keep losing, we got a shot to get to that 3 seed, man. And hey, man, it's college basketball time. It's Bucks crunch time. So we're gonna hope all these Wisconsin teams do their thing, and we're gonna be an honorary Dayton Flyers fan. We're gonna hope them boys knuck if they buck and get in that A10. A10, is that right? Am I right?
Yep.
Getting that A10 tournament. Let's come on. Brother Anthony, second quarter adjustment, dude. Let's get it going. Let's get to the tournament.
He did it again tonight. They were down 13.5. They won by like 8. So
there you go.
But more importantly, we want Dayton Flyers softball to win.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done.
Yep. Shout out to Kristen, man.
Absolutely. Bucks doing what they need to do. They've won 7 of the last 8 of the last 10. So we'll see if they can keep rolling 10 games over 500. Again, we'll have more information on the Cream City crossover bracket challenge. So that'll be fun too for everybody to participate in. We'll have information here. We'll have information on Twitter how to participate, how to join. And yeah, we'll like I said, it'll be a fun time. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, watching us tonight. Back tomorrow against Dallas Mavericks. I'm expecting a big win tomorrow against the Mavericks. I'm expecting us to rest a couple guys. I don't know if Kuzma was going to rest. Dame, I saw a picture of him after the game. He looked horrible. So just from his eye looked real bad. So we'll see if there's any guys that may be out tomorrow taking a break. But just really quick looking at it, you have Dallas Wednesday, and you have on Saturday, you have Orlando. And we talked about it that you should get again. It was Dallas, Atlanta, Dallas, Orlando, and then you start on the 9th with Cleveland on ESPN on Sunday night, and then you have Indiana on Tuesday, and then Thursday you got the Lakers. I mean, so the real hard part of the stretch is coming up. But to going 4-0 into this really tough part of March, which we've been talking about, that's huge. That's huge. And again, I'm not counting them before they hatch. But you should go out and beat a Dallas team that is, totally depleted. This should be a game where you can, even if you just had Giannis available, if that's what it is, go out and in 30 minutes, you should be able to beat this basketball team. Just enough energy, hustle, figure out a way to win. And then Orlando, again, another team that has not been playing, the way they have. Now, again, Paolo Banchero, you got to stop him. You got to slow him down so he can play basketball. But you should be able to beat that basketball team. And then you head into Sunday with Cleveland. So we'll see if we can do it. I want to thank everybody for watching. Again, we appreciate you all. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us tonight after a big Bucks win, 127-121 over the Atlanta Hawks. Want to thank, of course, again, want to thank you guys as well, Chris and Justin, for your contributions tonight. Want to thank everybody who commented and tuned in with Twitter, YouTube, however you did it. And then want to thank our sponsors, of course, Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. You guys always doing a great job. Head on out to Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill out in Lake Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Enjoy yourself. Good food, good eats, good wings, all that out there at Curly's. Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill, proud sponsor of the Cream City crossover. That's it, fellas. Tonight, big win, 127-121. Bucks keep rolling as the hottest team in the NBA. Right now, post All-Star break, we keep rolling as the hottest post game in all of the land for Milwaukee Bucks. Everything Milwaukee Bucks, we're going to keep doing it as long as the people out there enjoy it. Please keep coming back. We'll see you tomorrow night. This has been a Cream City Media Group production from the Guru Truck Hospital III.
Chris King.
Justin.
If I am the enemy, as long as I dare to tell you the truth, don't take no wood nickels.
Upside down.
Courage.